Howdy, folks. Today we're looking at Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater number 3 from 2024 in IDW Publishing. With the conclusion of these 3 issues, Tom Scioli has surely succeeded in giving us the strangest interpretation of Godzilla possibly ever, as the big man faces a showdown in Transylvania. Jay Gatsby's resources are pushed to the brink, and his allies exhausted as he finds himself at the mercy of the one man alive who sees Godzilla as less a threat than an opportunity, Count Dracula himself. Of course, we learn Dracula's machinations have been felt throughout the series. He's responsible for the time machine malfunctioning at a crucial moment, just as we previously saw him convert and enslave Sherlock Holmes to do his bidding. Predictably, of course, Godzilla represents the limits of his abilities. Perhaps the entire series to date represents a ploy by Dracula to bring Godzilla within his reach, but the vampire ultimately fails to bend the larger monster's will to his own, which makes sense after all. Dracula is a power beyond measure on the scale of humanity, but Godzilla represents another order of magnitude entirely. But then, if even Dracula himself ultimately fails to bring the monster under heel, what hope does the rest of the planet have? Scioli answers by assembling a league of the most powerful monsters known to man. Not just Dracula, but Frankenstein's monster, controlled by Victor's descendant, a whole countryside full of werewolves, and even a mummy. Remember how Godzilla destroyed the Great Pyramids last issue? Well, the pharaoh rises from his eternal sleep to pursue the monster who disturbed his tomb, and seems quite indifferent to the fact that the monster in this case is 500 feet tall and breathing radioactive fire. Somehow, when we weren't paying attention, Scioli slipped a leash and assembled a slightly off-brand coterie of the classic Universal movie monsters to wage war against Godzilla. You've got Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, and the Mummy, and when the time machinist returns from his detour in the future, he returns with a magic ring that can make living creatures grow to incredible sizes. The F. Scott Fitzgerald riff transforms seamlessly into a wrestling match between Godzilla and the other most famous monsters of the 20th century. It shouldn't surprise you to hear that Godzilla holds his own right up until the very end, when Gatsby himself uses the growing ring to increase to massive proportions, becoming an actual great Gatsby. The joy of the series at every turn lies in Scioli's stunning commitment to raising the stakes. At every turn, the story escalates, offering a view of plot as less the unwinding of a clockwork mechanism and more a game of perpetual one-upmanship, as you might expect from kids in the schoolyard. There's a freedom to that impulse, a commitment to pure storytelling as a means of showing us the most amazing thing possible. On one hand, certainly it's frankly an absurd series of events that would lead Jay Gatsby to becoming a giant-sized superhero, wrestling the great lizard with his bare hands, and yet how else could it ever have ended under Scioli's pencil than in a previously unimaginable slobber knocker between the two primaries? Gatsby even gets a happy ending out of the deal. Sure, Daisy leaves to take some time apart, but he's left floating in his pool, still very much alive for the ordeal.